They're at the heart of Australia's mining boom, but many small mining communities say that with inadequate infrastructure, they're not seeing their share of the wealth they generate. In Queensland, the union movement has appointed a mining communities advocate to help the state's coal towns get a better deal. They fear unless they act now, they'll end up like mining towns in Western Australia, where the widespread use of fly-in, fly-out workers has left some remote communities struggling. Kieran McKenzie reports from Queensland's coalfields.
Moranbah in Central Queensland is one of the state's largest coal mining communities. The town was created in the early 70s, specifically to service the mines. Almost all of its 10,000 residents are in some way tied to the industry.
And we're here because we love the community, not because we're in mines. And I think that people need to understand it's not just miners here fighting for this.
Now locals have picked a fight with the region's biggest employer and Australia's largest coal miner, BMA, the BHP Billiton MITSUBISHI alliance. The company wants to construct a new mine at Moranbah called Caval Ridge and is proposing a 100% fly-in, fly-out workforce.
This is happening on our doorstep. It's happening now.
Kelly Vivi is the chairwoman of the Moranbah Action Group. Tonight she's rallied a crowd of several hundred locals worried about the impact the BMA proposal will have on their community.
100% fly-in, fly-out, it doesn't support our local businesses. It doesn't acknowledge the needs of creating, a sustainable community.
The problem is Moranbah, like so many mining towns, has a severe housing shortage. Modest homes have capital city price tags and rents can be astronomical. Kelly Vivi believes mining companies have a responsibility to provide housing.
For a company that's profiting $23.5 billion this year, I really don't think it's too much to provide options for workers.
BMA's Steve Ray insists the company is doing its bit. Last year it invested $16 million into Moranbah. While most of the mines in the region have some fly-in, fly-out workers, he says this time BMA has little choice but to source its entire workforce from outside the region.
We really do have a skills shortage, and that if we're going to actually get the people and the skills that we need for Caval Ridge, then we're going to need to look further afield for our labour than the Moranbah and Central Queensland.
He says the company's asked its workforce what it wants, and that's fly-in, fly-out contracts.
It gives people who might want to reside in southeast Queensland, for example, the opportunity to live and work in these coal-producing areas. So we believe it actually enhances choice.
That's absolutely bullshit, because I've had phone calls from 11 young fellas in the last week saying, good on you, Jim, you keep going. I don't want you to mention my name or where I work, but we cannot get a house to live in the community where we work.
Jim Pearce is a former coal miner and one-time Queensland Labor MP. He has a new job as mining communities advocate, a role funded by the mining union, the CFMEU.
I've been in business here since 1986 and they don't spend any money with me, mate.
Yeah. The people who live here dedicate their lives to this community and work in the mines locally. I'm just saying to them, look, we've just had enough of this. The coal industry is just booming and yet the communities are staying idle.
Nowhere more so than in Western Australia, according to Curtin University economist Fiona Haslam McKenzie, who's done extensive research on fly-in, fly-out operations. This year, more than 15,000 workers were flown into the Pilbara. That's the equivalent of a third of the mining region's permanent resident population. She says the practice has been destructive.
Our research showed that communities such as Karratha and communities around Karratha, where there is a large proportion of fly-in, fly-out, you have all sorts of challenges that are not easily solved. People move in, move out, don't have any sense of place, any sense of community.
It's that lack of community that Moranbah social worker Angela Tudehope says puts the emotional welfare of miners at risk. Over recent years, she's seen a surge in miners seeking help for a range of mental health issues, and she blames fly-in, fly-out work.
the drive-in, drive-out, fly-in, fly-out is obviously an attractive option at first. And the unfortunate problem is that people tell us it's not until 6 months down the track that they've been working as a transient worker that they start to recognise the full impacts and ramifications of that work.
Those ramifications include depression, family breakdown and even domestic violence.
These guys are really then in a really hard predicament. If it is 100% fly-in, fly-out, no accommodation, there's no choice for them to move their family into Moranbah to try and rebuild that family unit.
Obviously, any social issues are a concern for us. We've made a commitment to work with the local communities to resolve those exact types of issues.
So far, the Queensland Government hasn't had to declare its hand because BMA is yet to lodge its application. But Moranbah locals are vowing to keep up their fight.
If we lose this, we lose the future for all sustainable resource communities, and we lose the future of all mining families that want to make choices amongst themselves. I don't think we have a choice at the moment to not win.
Kira McKenzie reporting from Queensland.